Betting is your home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Bettor Sports Network Fantasy Alarm. Thanks for everyone coming in here and joining on a Friday afternoon. We've got tons of college football games going on tonight, tomorrow, Sunday. So I am glued into that. I'll be giving you guys some picks for these games coming up tonight and tomorrow. So we got that on the docket. We got Jon Impemba here, and we got to talk some baseball because both of us have some baseball picks for tonight's slate. Massive slate after just a 3-gamer last night. So we got tons of ways to go there. What's up, John?
Not too much. Yeah, listen, I'm excited. This time last year, Massachusetts didn't have mobile sports betting, legalized sports betting yet. So wasn't able to get in any of the college football betting action. But now that it is legal and I have the plethora of apps at my fingertips, I can start following some of these best bets that you're giving out on these shows, man.
There you go. Yeah. UMass is big underdogs to Auburn this weekend.
They won for the first time at home. They won in like 60 years or something like that.
I will say I'm not giving out that pick, but UMass as an underdog against the spread has been like a popular one out there in the college football betting circles this weekend. So, you could jump on that one. Definitely would not recommend the money line against Auburn on the road.
Probably not. Yeah,
this
isn't going to be an Appalachian State, Michigan rerun.
I don't think so. But who knows? Who knows? We've seen obviously those big upsets in the past. But yeah, coming up in just a little bit, stay tuned because I will be giving out some bets for tonight. We got an awesome contest challenge we're running with Bettor Edge as well. I'll give you the details on how to get on that in just a sec. But starting out with some baseball picks for tonight's slate because we got basically I think every team in action tonight and a full slate of games at our betting disposal here. So let's start with our best bets. John, what is your top pick?
Yeah, we got 14 games on the main slate here. It's a 7:00 slate, but like you mentioned, ton of games here. I went with maybe a chalky play. Blue Jays first 5 run line giving 1.5 runs to the Colorado Rockies. This game is being played in Coors. You're getting plus 114 over on DraftKings Sportsbook there with the Blue Jays giving 1.5 runs. Chris Flexen is on the mound for the Colorado Rockies here. Hyun-Jin Ryu on the mound for Toronto. Ryu's been very good since coming off of the IL, making 5 starts so far this year. Hasn't allowed more than 2 earned in any of those outings. Well, Flexen on the other side has been one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball. He's allowing a 400 WOBA and a 600 slugging percentage right-handed bat. So I can see this Blue Jays offense that's been pretty inconsistent for a lot of this year, just absolutely blitzing Flexen and the Rockies early in this one and covering that 1.5 run line for the first 5.
Yeah, the Blue Jays offense, some of their hitters in Coors should be trouble for Flexen. So I could back that. And the run line, interesting. Yeah, 1.5. It's not often you see first half run lines at 1.5. So I think Vegas is telling us something there. I'm also going with the first 5 run line for my pick. I'm going with the Astros against the Yankees. Astros to be leading after 5 here. It's just a mismatch on both sides here in the matchup because it's Carlos Rodon against the Astros. Houston's been crushing left-handed pitching over the past week, over the past 2 weeks, just one of the best offenses in this split. And Rodon on the road here, I don't see him holding the Astros lineup down because he's been shaky lately over the past month and against, easier matchups than what he has here with the Astros. So I think the Astros offense will do their thing. And then I got a lot of confidence in Verlander here against the Yankees. Verlander at home, whether it was with the Mets or now with the Astros, he's been elite this year when he's at home. And obviously he's comfortable pitching in Houston as he was last year and years before. But he's been doing it again here. And in his past 12 starts, he's got a 2.02 ERA dating back to when he was with the Mets. But since he's been with the Yankees, he's been looking like old Verlander again. And when he's at home in general overall, he's got a 2.27 ERA compared to a 4.02 road ERA. And the Yankees offense, they've been an offense to fade when they're against righties. They hit lefties well, but when they're facing right-handed pitching, which is more often than not, it's a good time to fade them. Over the last 2 weeks against righties, 278 WOBA, a 29% strikeout rate, a 184 batting average against righties. So I don't see how Verlander isn't giving the Astros the lead here after 5. They're the money line overall is a little too expensive. You could look at that for this game, but I just like sticking to first 5 innings here.
Yeah, listen, 100% in agreement with you. Carlos Rodon has been awful for the majority of this season. And it's not just the righties in that Houston lineup that do damage against lefties. It's the lefties that do damage in the Houston lineup against lefties. Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez have been a murderer's row despite being from the left side of the plate against left-handed pitching. And then you go look on just the limited sample size for Carlos Rodon this year against left-handed hitters. He's allowed 7 earned runs over a cumulative 6 2/3 innings facing left-handed hitters. So he is not getting lefties out. He's allowed 3 homers during that span. Again, 6 2/3 cumulative innings facing lefty batters. And they're just hammering him in general. He's allowed 10 homers in 37 innings pitched this year. Just not good for the Yankees offseason investment there. So I'm with you. I'll ride that play all day.
All right. And Houston also just got back Michael Brantley into the lineup, which another lefty bat who's, a veteran hitter, has some good career numbers against left-handed pitching too. So it's not like he's a slouch in that split. So, even in this lineup just got even tougher down the stretch, and now with Brantley in there. So, roll with the Astros. Just got to remind you guys before we give out some more betting picks for baseball tonight, just to go get the Fantasy Football Draft Guide, Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet. You can get that with the All-Pro subscription for free if you have that All-Pro sub, and you can also get a free 7-day trial right now for the All-Pro subscription to go get your draft guide and cheat sheet for this huge fantasy football draft weekend we get coming up, because this is the last weekend before we have games starting up on Thursday next week, and obviously week 1 all on Sunday. So you got to get the draft guide now. Get it now and get, updated cheat sheet with rankings, based on all the recent roster cuts, injury updates and all that stuff. So you can stay ahead of your leagues. I downloaded it earlier this week when I had a draft, and it was, the guys that slipped down the board compared to who people are drafting in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounds. It's crazy. So jump on that now before your drafts. All right, back to some betting picks. And I think you got a pick that is backing up my Astros play here. Something we were just talking about, lefties against Rodon, right?
Yeah, I did Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Again, Kyle Tucker this year. I just mentioned the Rodon stats, but Tucker himself against left-handed pitching, again, as a left-handed hitter, he has a 427 weighted on-base percentage, a 363 isolated power number. He's hitting almost 300, 657 slug. Again, this is atypical for a lefty to hit lefties the way Kyle Tucker is hitting lefties this season. So the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for me, you're getting that at minus 125 on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, I cannot argue that at all, because I looked at Tucker. I'll probably put it in that bet as well as soon as we get done here, because I looked at Tucker. I looked at Yordan Alvarez, his hits, runs, RBIs, because both those guys you mentioned, both are hitting lefties well, and at home for both tonight. I just don't see how either one is not doing damage against Rodon. Got a comment in the chat here from Michael Rojas saying a couple picks that he likes. Bobby Witt over 1.5 total bases, and Luis Robert over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I will just say a little bit later we give out our Diamond Dogs, and there may or may not be a couple picks that support your selections here, Michael. So
Bobby Witt was the cover of the MLB DFS playbook, which got published just shortly before we went live today, going up against James Paxton. So you know that I am in on some Bobby Witt here today.
And Colby Conway's Prize Picks video that went live earlier today, he's got Luis Robert prop in there as well. So I think he backs up that one as well. And I think one of us agrees on these picks, both these picks for our Diamond or our Daily Dingers a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, good calls on those, Michael. And if anybody else has picks in the chat you want to throw in there, definitely hit us up. We'll give our opinions on some of your baseball picks or college football picks for tonight, for tomorrow. I'm glued into all these games, so you can ask away in the chat if you got any picks you want to throw at us. All right, another pick I'll throw out. Stick it in the Astros game because I'm just piggybacking right on what I was saying about the Astros in the first 5. And I think Verlander under 2.5 earned runs is a good way to go too, because I mentioned the Yankees offense against right-handed pitching is very weak. One of the bottom 5 offenses in the split over the past 2 weeks, over the past month. It's just been a great spot to target. And I mentioned Verlander at home, just a stud pitcher, 2.27 ERA at home this year. And this prop, the 2.5 earned runs, he's been under it in 9 of his last 12 starts, going back to when he's with the Mets. Also been under it in 3 of his 5 with the Astros. And again, when he's at home, he's been under this a lot more often. So he's also faced the Yankees 3 times already this year, going back to once with the Astros, twice with the Mets, and he's been under this prop in all 3 starts so far. So he's not going to shy away from a supposed tougher matchup against the Yankees, but it's not really that right now. So give me Verlander.
I like it. Again, we just saw Matt Manning shut down the Yankees lineup, and we consider Verlander to be tiers above Matt Manning. So I am full on agreement with you. Give me all the Verlander you can today. Maybe featured in the write-up section of the playbook today as well as the top starter for the day. So
there we go. We're on point there. Mulroyd commenting on YouTube right now says he likes Adam Duvall over 1.5 total bases plus 105 on DraftKings. And he also has Louisville tonight on Friday Night College Football -7. I like Louisville. I'll touch on that real quick because that's one of my picks I was going to give out in just a little bit, like in Louisville to cover this spread here against Georgia Tech. Even though it's on the road, I do think they're going to start the season strong and win fairly easily there. So I'll back Louisville there. Any thoughts on Duvall here for the Braves?
Listen, one of the more overused sort of like terms when describing a player is like hottest hitter in baseball. You can throw a whole bunch of guys in there. Obviously, Acuna and Betts and all that, and Ozuna even. But Duvall for the Red Sox has 7 homers over his last 10 games, sitting 462 at a 1,600 OPS. And now he gets Jordan Lyles, who's a gas can. Gives up a lot of home runs to everybody, lefties and righties. So, I'll continue to ride the Duvall train here. He's been going over this now. Let's see, because he hasn't homered, he's doubled. So he's got at least like 5 straight games going over to the 1.5 total bag. So I'm in on Adam Duvall here tonight for sure.
Yeah, back in my mind, I was thinking Duvall's on the Braves, but obviously he is on the Red Sox.
He was on the Braves last season or 2 years ago. One of the two had 39 homers for him. So
and Lyles is always a good pitcher to fade, so I can never knock that. The Louisville pick, though, I do like, and I'll touch on that more in depth in just a minute here. So stay tuned for more thoughts on that. But I agree with you, Mulroyd, on that Louisville pick. All right, another pick I'll throw out here. I like the Athletics on the money line, plus 106 on FanDuel. Just getting, it's bad vibes with the Angels right now. They just, put a bunch of players on waivers. Renfroe got picked up, Giolito, a couple of relievers. I just am very down on like the overall vibes of the Angels and the A's. There's not much analysis I can match for like JP Sears against Patrick Sandoval. Obviously, Sandoval should have the advantage there. But you look at, they're both left-handed pitchers. You look at like past 2 weeks, the A's offense is actually, slightly better or basically the same in that split against left-handed pitching. So I think there's value in taking the A's on the money line to win here because it's just the vibes of the Angels. I'm not loving it right now. So I think there's value just grabbing the A's as an underdog tonight.
Yeah, how do you feel about if you're Randall Grichuk being the only player placed on the waivers not to get claimed, right? Just like
That's
nobody
tough.
wants to.
That's tough.
It's a tough go. Yeah, listen, I think this is kind of an interesting matchup because I see why the value would be there if you're just sort of playing the vibes. Obviously, Patrick Sandoval's pitched a little bit better of late, and targeting Oakland has certainly been profitable for a lot of this year. But like you mentioned, the A's are, I mean, the Athletics are definitely a team that's probably winding their way down at this point. So I could potentially get behind that play, especially at the plus odds that you're getting them for sure.
Yeah, and interesting, I'll actually look right now to see what the updated current odds were. So plus 105 on DraftKings, so similar. But I think earlier today, this morning I was looking at this and it was like plus 120 for Oakland to win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And, money's coming in on the A's here, which I think is notable because when you start seeing the A's at, plus 106, plus 105, or maybe even money or favored, I just think it's, Vegas is telling us like, all right, this could be a game they win. They don't win often, but this could be one of them. So I'll back it.
I can see it.
All right. What other picks you got, John?
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to go with Mitch Keller here, plus 140 to get a win. If you look at this game here, the Pirates, despite being on the road, it's one of those rare instances where money line wise, the Cardinals are minus 105 today, but Pittsburgh's minus 115. So feels like maybe a coin flip game here, but Keller, really starting to come back around. Obviously, he started the season as hot as any pitcher could be, hit the middle of the year, really started to struggle. Then you look at his last couple of starts here, only 3 earned runs over his last 20 innings pitched. He had a double-digit strikeout game in that mix there. And then you look at the Cardinals this year, and while that lineup obviously has some big bats, it has Arenado and it has Goldschmidt and that crew. They've been more a team that you've wanted to tackle against left-handed pitching than right-handed pitching here. So I'm willing to take the bet on a hot pitching Keller shutting down that lineup this evening, and you're getting plus 140 on the win.
Yeah, plus 140. We've talked about like pitchers to get wins in the past, and it's like when you start seeing odds that are getting closer to even. It's probably it's a good sign for that pitcher to get the win. And it's not often you see maybe a guy like Mitch Keller be that close to getting a win. So good vibes there. Michael Rojas commented again here in the YouTube chat saying he likes Kodai Senga's K prop sneaky under. I would stay away from that honestly, because actually one of my picks, and I'll just kind of go right into that. I like Senga's under hits allowed prop. 4.5 on DraftKings minus 130. I like that under. Obviously tough matchup on paper against the Mariners here. Mariners have been red hot. Their offense has been doing a lot of damage for them to win games and pull into that wild card race. But Senga's been really tough, especially at home. I mean, his stuff in general has been really his fork
limiting
ball.
The walks have been huge for him lately.
Limiting walks. His strikeouts have been up, and at home this year, he's got a 2.64 ERA, a 3.18 FIP, 184 batting average against at home, 30% strikeout rate too at home. So that's why I would kind of stay away from taking the under on the strikeouts. Even though I know it is, it's 6.5 is the line, and it's plus odds to the under. So I could see why you might want to take that, especially, against a good Mariners offense.
For me, it's more so that we don't know the status of Julio Rodriguez yet. I mean, if you can wait out that line, wait as long as you can to bet it. The general manager for Seattle said they're hopeful to get J-Rod back this weekend. Does that mean today? Does that mean tomorrow? Because if he's out of that lineup, he was really the driving force of everything that was going on for that team. You take him out, it gets a lot more manageable here for Senga to pick up some Ks, because there's definitely a lot of swing and miss, in that lineup up and down. So, wait and see if J-Rod's in. If J-Rod's in, maybe you take the under or you just avoid it. If he's out, though, I mean, I think 7 Ks is pretty doable for Senga tonight.
I don't see a Mariners lineup yet, right? I don't see that.
No, I haven't seen one yet, but there are 7:00 games, so they should have it out soon.
Yeah, so we'll update there if it comes out while we're live here. But back to the Senga under hits prop. He's been under this in 3 of his last 4 home starts coming into the night, or 4 of his last 5 home starts rather, and 7 of his last 9 starts overall. Coming into tonight. So, I just think he limits the hits at least here. The strikeouts, maybe you kind of wait and see on Julio, but if he's out, I do like this under even more, obviously. So, but yeah, Michael, the K prop, maybe wait and see. And we'll try to get a Mariners lineup out for you soon here. All right, John, any other picks for you before we move to some college football?
I got two here. I'm going to carry Carpenter over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Again, we don't often just look at the Tigers for obvious reasons. They haven't been a good team, but they do have some players that are really having some breakout years. Torkelson lately, Riley Green for a lot of the season, but Kerry Carpenter, I think, has been maybe one of the biggest surprises of the season for Detroit. We have Tuki Toussaint on the mound for Chicago. And once again, you're looking at Carpenter's recent numbers. He's hitting over 300 with a 900 OPS over the last 10 games here. So I think Carpenter can get it done against Toussaint. And then I'll take another guy that's really starting to come around. That's Corbin Carroll. We do it every show that I'm on here, Dan. We got stolen base prop. Carroll over half a stolen base at plus 400. What I like to do in a recent strategy of mine, when a lefty is on the mound, it seems like the stolen base props for some of these guys are longer odds because a lefty's on the mound, it's harder to steal. It's just sort of true because the 2 pickoff move now, Carroll can just draw a couple of throws, and there's nothing that Irvin can do tonight to throw over to first if Carroll gets enough lead to run on the next pitch. And eventually they'll go to that Baltimore bullpen. So I like Corbin Carroll over half a stolen base at plus 400 odds. Again, a guy that's going to steal 50 bags this year, you're getting 4-1 on. So I'll take my chances on him getting it done here tonight.
Yeah, I knew we couldn't get out of the show without you giving a stolen base prop out to the people.
Sometimes it's too good. Story tonight's plus 320 if you think he can get on base. I mean,
I think he can get on base against Story Ruiz, you said?
Yeah. He's got
I thought you said Story, Trevor Story.
No. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Story Ruiz. It's weird to see Carroll's, as you mentioned, stolen base prop that low or that high, rather, 4-1.
That's what I'm saying. It's 4-1 for the guy. What is he? I mean, how many stolen bases does he actually have? I know he's approaching 40, I think, at this point, right? He's got he's already got 41. He's got 41 stolen bases already. Stole a bag yesterday. He's got total stolen bases over the last 10, 4 the last 10 games, hitting 400 with 1,200 OPS. So I'm not worried about the lefty spot. I think he'll get a bag tonight. So
there you go. All right, let's before we give some home run calls out for a little bit later, we got to talk some college football because we got a lot of games tonight. We got a lot of games tomorrow. I gave out some picks for Thursday night last night. I think I went 500 on those picks I gave out on the show. So for what that's worth, but yeah, I'm sitting here in my college football corner. Got Maryland's on the schedule tomorrow. They should win easy, but those aren't in my picks. And by the way, you can compete against me in Servo 7, a new competition, college football totals competition this weekend, powered by Bettor Edge. We're joining forces with Bettor Edge here. You just have to make picks on the over-unders, the totals for a bunch of games. Nothing against the spread. Don't have to worry about any of that. Just go over-under on 7 different picks on this competition. You just make the most right picks in this competition. Free competition, by the way, and you can get paid out just for entering for free. So it's an awesome opportunity. If you download the Bettor Edge app or sign up on Bettor Edge at bettoredge.com/bettor, that's BETTOR, using promo code BETTOR, BETTOR, you get $20 for free when you sign up and verify your account. No deposit required at all for this. So it's an awesome spot to just join in. We'll be doing this all season on these shows. Thursdays usually when we talk some college football for previewing the weekend. But yeah, get in now. The Servo 7 competition there to look for it on Bettor Edge. And again, there's like 20, 25 games that are available for the pick, but you just have to pick 7 of those and go over under on some of the totals there. So awesome shot. Most right picks wins back money, and it's free to enter anyway. So awesome stuff.
Hard to beat that.
Yeah, I'm not going to give out my picks. I'm in this competition, but one pick I will give out just to tell you where I'm leaning. Colorado TCU is one. I like the over in this one. And right now, if you want to bet it, 63 is the over-under on DraftKings, but I like the over here. Colorado, Deion Sanders in town. They went under a huge roster overhaul, and especially on defense. This defense was one of the worst in the country last year. They're not expected to get much better in year one under Deion Sanders. It's going to take a little bit till they get some better talent in there. And they have a lot of transfers in there for this season. TCU's offense, obviously they now national runner-up, right? They got demolished by Georgia in the national title game, but all season long, this team was putting up points. Air raid offense, they lose some guys, like they lose the quarterback Max Duggan, Kendry Miller now in the NFL, Quentin Johnston as well now in the NFL, but they still bring back a lot from last year. They bring in a couple of transfers from Alabama too, wide receiver and running back, to even give the offense a little bit more firepower. So I think the TCU offense is going to do its thing at home here against Colorado to anchor this over. And Colorado's offense, Deion Sanders' son, Shedeur Sanders, has followed him there and is now the quarterback. He's got some talent, and the Colorado offense also brought in some transfer talent there. I do think they're going to put up points here. And you can see the spread there, 20.5. They've gotten a lot of money to possibly cover this spread. I think it's just going to be a higher scoring game. I'm staying away from the spread. I do like the over here in general, because I just think it's going to be a lot of offense, especially on the TCU side at home, just anchoring that. Kenson Paris on the chat here on YouTube saying he put a lousy $200 on Colorado money line just for the chance. Listen, I don't hate that, because who knows? Like, I know Deion Sanders, this offense, he's going to want to have some tricks up his sleeve. Yeah. There's going to be some trick plays coming. Again, I do think Colorado's offense can put up points here. So I wouldn't put it past, them stealing the game. Why not? But I do think overall it's going to be a higher scoring game. So that's one of my picks for this Bettor Edge contest. But again, you make 7 picks. You could fade me on this one if you think I'm off, and go against, and maybe I'm wrong and you're right. But yeah, there's a bunch of games, because we got Ohio State, Indiana's in there, USC's on the slate, North Carolina, South Carolina is a big game this week. Penn State against West Virginia, another big one. So
some bangers right out of the gate, huh?
Yeah, some good ones, some good non-conference matchups, some interesting ones, but. We on Sunday, by the way, LSU versus Florida State is a huge top 10 game that everyone will be tuned in for that. So, but yeah, I got some more picks for you guys if you're interested, John.
You gotta go over to Fantasy get the All Pro package. You get his college football betting picks there with their All Pro subscription. The annual subscription right now is 40% off the month-to-month subscription. So basically. 50% off, almost 40%. Excuse me. So it's a great value to go ahead and just get the annual sub, get access to all the content across all sports that we put out there, and premium access to our Discord as well. So no better time than now to go get part of the Fantasy Salon family. Go to fantasysalon.com/win to take advantage of that one. So I got to let you know, though, I am 0-1 betting college football this season. I took the first half under on Notre Dame last week of 25.5, and 14 seconds left. They decided to throw a touchdown pass.
Dude,
that was heartbreaking. Sitting there watching that go down.
Well, listen, that was one of my picks I gave out last week on the that's probably why you followed me there. Trust me,
this sounds good. I was like, I'm tracking it. I'm watching. I'm like, 14 seconds left. They can't even kick a field goal to go over. We're sitting pretty. Touchdown. Like,
dude, on Monday's show with Howard, I brought that up because I don't think he was aware that happened. I was like, listen, I just got to admit, we suffered a bad beat for the first game of the college football season. So bad. It was rough. But, we bounced
first
back.
Half, bad beat.
At least, you could take stock in it, because I knew it was like a right read on it. And the under for the overall game went under. So like that hit, if you bet that, which I did also just kind of lay that one. But the first half under was a bad beat in the first half.
It was so bad. I was just sitting there like refreshing it because I wasn't in front of a computer. I'm like, all right, 14 seconds left, like no problem. Then I get the text updates like touchdown. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Kenson Paris got a couple comments in here. He says that one of his hot picks for today is Miami in the first half, -9.5. Too low, in my opinion. I think Miami comes out firing. I can get behind that one. Yeah, they face at home against Miami of Ohio is that matchup. I do think, overall the Miami offense is what I like in this game overall. So I could get behind that one. A little Miami versus Miami game for week 1, which is interesting. Kenson also says, it was just weird to me that the Vegas set the money line at plus 650. I think he's talking about the Colorado money line for that one, while La Tech is minus 1100 with the same spread. The Vegas, I think they're trying to a little bit, cover their butts a little bit if Colorado does shock everyone and does pull off the win. I did see a stat earlier today. They're getting like one of the most, it's one of the most bet on games for this week 1 slate because it's Deion Sanders at Colorado. So a lot of people are just betting on Colorado thinking that they could cover or win outright, which I get.
People are a believer, man, in Deion, right? He flipped that program around, but here we go. By the way, our producer Adam Bernard, talking about the Miami one, says the winner gets to be just Miami and the loser has to drop the state parentheses from their name. I will say, as like a college football follower, it's annoying to have to differentiate between Miami, Florida, Miami of Ohio. But my brother-in-law went to Miami, Ohio, so I can't knock it too much because he's a follower there. All right, I got a couple picks for you tonight for Friday night that I like. And earlier we had Mulroyd commenting earlier, saying he likes Louisville minus the 7. I do like that. I like Louisville to cover here and win. I just think that Louisville is undergoing a new scheme, a new offense. They bring in Purdue's old head coach Jeff Brom to come in and run a more air raid offense. I like that vibe. And he has his old quarterback, Jack Plummer, coming in to be the starter there at Louisville, who transfers in, who's familiar with the system. So I do like this Louisville offense and Jeff Brom not to back down, in a conference matchup on the road to start. Similar to yesterday, I gave out Nebraska against the spread. They were underdogs to Minnesota. They ended up covering, but it was a similar vibe. I just think that I like, the road team going on the road in a conference matchup, not going to shy away from it. And Jeff Brom has plenty of experience. And I think he's going to want to make a statement coming into ACC and just winning right away here. So, I like Louisville here. And Georgia Tech has Haynes King at quarterback this year. I think it's a huge question because this is a guy that flamed out at Texas A&M. He lost the starting job. Really disappointed, and I just think his talent level is not what people originally thought. I could see some growing pains with him trying to get used to Georgia Tech here. So, I like Louisville to come in, win this one. The minus 7.5, by the way, is the current spread. If you get it minus 7, that's cool if you want to pay a little of the juice at an alt line. But I think it's telling that the spread has not moved from 7.5. You would think that money might be coming on Georgia Tech to move it to a more of a +7 or a -7 or -6.5. But I think it's telling that Louisville is still 7.5, and that, the games tonight, we could see it creep up into -8, -8.5 if late money starts coming in on Louisville. So I like that one. And then another one I like tonight, Stanford on the money line against Hawaii. Interesting one here. -150 you can get on BetMGM, the money line. I think so. Hawaii is a popular underdog pick tonight to possibly win outright, to at least cover. This spread has moved a lot over the past week and a half. Stanford was more than a touchdown favorite here, but Hawaii just played week 0 and they were on the road at Vanderbilt and covered as underdogs there, and actually, made Vandy sweat a little bit at the end of the game, played them close. And I think people are overreacting a little too much to that. I may be wrong about this situation, but I think people saw Hawaii and just kind of overreacted a little bit that all right, now they're at home
against the Stanford team that should be worse than Vanderbilt. They're like, all right, let's grab Hawaii. But I like now the value you can get on Stanford to win this game. Stay away from the spread. I do like the money line in general. Hawaii, an interesting kind of vibe here. So Hawaii, I just mentioned they had to go on the road to Vanderbilt. Now they're going back home, kind of short rest. They have the travel going all the way back to Hawaii, where normally you'd say, like, all right, Hawaii at home, you have like a team coming in. Maybe it's the advantage to Hawaii for a team having to travel there. But Stanford didn't play last week. They had plenty of time to travel there. Probably had more time to get used to all the time change and stuff. And the flight from Stanford to Hawaii is a lot shorter than what Hawaii just had to do. Vanderbilt, Tennessee, all the way to Hawaii. So it's not like a true home road matchup for either team here. Even though obviously Stanford is on the road, but I like Stanford. They were a disappointment last year. They actually bring in a new offense that's supposed to be, more RPOs, more up-tempo offense. They have Emmitt Smith's son, EJ Smith, who was hurt part of last year. He's back and was a really good, dynamic talent when he was healthy. But I think him being back is huge for this offense. So I like Stanford on the money line. I think it's a great value to get. And got a couple comments here in the chat. Kenzen Paris said, he was asking about Stanford versus Hawaii. He says he likes Hawaii +3 at home or even the money line because they played well against an SEC team in Vandy. I just that kind of outlined it there, but I just think people are overreacting a little bit too much to what they just did. So Kenzen also says he's from Hawaii, so maybe he's biased a little bit. So I could be totally wrong. We could see Hawaii come out strong and surprise us again, but maybe I'm just a little too low, and I think there's value on Stanford there.
Yeah, no arguments with me on that one for sure. And again, you have a whole bunch of plays for everybody to go check out over at Fantasy Line if they want to go get the rest of your picks for tonight, right, Servo?
Yeah. No other. Those were picks for tonight. I got no other picks for tonight's games. Smaller slate, but yeah, I got games tomorrow for UCLA bet that I like. Trying to think of the Iowa, another bet that I'm not giving out the spreads here, but I think it's UCLA against Coastal Carolina, Iowa against Utah State, another game that I'm looking at. And then the Boise State-Washington game is a big one, and I got a pick for that game. So, go check out my best bets article for those. Real quick, just wanted to roll out two more for tomorrow if people are looking ahead to tomorrow's games. I like North Texas +6.5 to cover this spread. I just think that Cal was a disappointing team from, obviously last year, went 4-8. And I think going on the road to North Texas here is a tough spot, a tough ask for any team, but obviously a middling power conference team. And North Texas is not a team to take lightly. They have an offense that's supposed to be, should be more air raid-ish, passing heavy. Also has a strong running game. So it's if the air raid offense kind of slows a little bit, they have really good running backs to lean on. But also kind of the vibe of going to Texas in this new, obviously a non-conference, facing a lower tier team, North Texas, but also just going on the road as a, trying to get used to what the humidity is in Texas, I think is a small aspect that can't go overlooked. And Cal, by the way, is flipping their offensive scheme from last year, trying to go with another up-tempo offense, brought in a transfer quarterback. I could see some growing pains early. So I like North Texas in this game, +6.5. I could see them winning outright. We got Mulroy saying North Texas a home dog. It's not often you see North Texas as a home underdog too. So that's another thing. But obviously, you got Cal coming to town. I could see why Vegas has this line, but I think there's value in taking in North Texas to cover here. So that's one pick I like. And then the last one I'll throw out here is Alabama to win big at home. Minus 39.5 is the spread.
Seems decent.
It's Middle Tennessee State. It's just not going to be competitive. Simple as that. And I think Alabama is going to want to make a huge statement here because there's been a lot of talk, losing Bryce Young, losing a lot of talent from last year. There's kind of like a national view that they're not going to be, a playoff contender, a national championship contender. They have a quarterback battle. They have 3 different guys that could be like the eventual starter for the season. And all 3 should see playing time in this opener, which I think is huge for Alabama's offense to not take its foot off the pedal. In the second half, when they have a big lead, you're going to have whoever the quarterback is, they're going to be looking to show out and make a statement on their own to eventually be the starter, show that they can be a starter. And kind of an underlying storyline, Alabama has Texas next week, which is a huge game, a huge matchup. And I think it's huge for Alabama to come out here, not take this game lightly at all, and get all their 3 quarterbacks playing time, see what they have, see who's clicking, and go into Texas with enough reps for everyone and enough confidence that they can win big and go into Texas at home against Texas and win that one. So I think it's huge for that. So I'm not scared away by this spread. Middle Tennessee State won't score much against Alabama's defense here. Take Alabama big. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when it's these types of matchups, right? Alabama's backups probably would cover the spread. So
there's a reason the spread is this large, okay?
For sure.
But obviously, people might be hesitant to back a huge favorite, but I think in this spot, it's worth it. So anyway, those are some of the picks I got today for tonight and tomorrow. But again, go over to fantasyalarm.com and get the All-Pro subscription if you haven't already to get some of my best bets for tomorrow's games. I got 3 games that I really like there that you can get for my picks for that one. And stay tuned a little bit later after the show. I'll have the college football DFS playbook out as well for tomorrow's slate. So we'll get you covered for all the DFS stuff. Ken's in Paris commenting again here. He thinks Alabama should be up at least 4 touchdowns at the half. So I like them to cover. Yeah, you can look at their first half spread too, honestly. I do think like this could be a game you look up and it's, 35-0 at halftime, easy. And wouldn't be surprised at that at all. Mulroyd also saying he's got a Bama minus 9.5 first quarter. Yeah, I like that too. Again, we could look up and it's 21-0 after the first quarter. So
that feels a little bit more feasible or reasonable, right? Did they score?
The first half and first quarter
right.
Spreads are definitely ones you can look at for like these big favorites because you think like, all right, the starters are in the first half is when they're going to be doing it. But I do have, like I said, I do have confidence in Alabama full game because they have a quarterback competition. I just don't see them taking their foot off the pedal even in the second half. But yeah, I do like. I wasn't going to give them all out for first quarter, first half, but I think you could hammer those too for Alabama. All right, so yeah, those are my picks for tonight. We gotta give out our daily dingers, our home run calls for tonight before we get out of here though, and flip the script back to baseball here. So yeah, let's get to our daily dingers.
And that baby is gone.
Now that's a dinger.
By the way, I love all the interaction we're getting here for college football. Wasn't sure of like the interest or what people will be having going on tonight or tomorrow for week 1, but college football's back and this is the time. Everyone's itching to get some NFL action and start their fantasy leagues or get their bets in for football, and now's the time to really watch some real football games this weekend.
You can keep all this whole entire conversation going in our Discord too. So if you sign up, become a Fantasy Alarm Pro member today, you get access to our premium Discord. Dan's in there. You can talk as many bets and strategies as you want with for college football with Servo in our premium Discord channel. So go to fantasyalarm.com/win and sign up there. It comes with a 7-day free trial, so give it a try. If you don't like it, cancel it, but I can't imagine you would cancel it. A lot of great things that come with that, like the Fantasy Alarm, Fantasy Football Draft Guide, and Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet, access to our premium Discord, access to all of our premium content, including Dan's College Football Best Bets, all the NFL content that's coming out for both DFS betting and seasonal, all there for premium content. And you can get that today by going to fantasyalarm.com/win, click the QR code, scan the QR code on the screen or the link in the description.
Yeah, and I feel like we always say this, but after the 7-day trial ends and you got the All Pro subscription, you're gonna pay this. We're gonna pay this back because you hit a few bets, especially with the DFS and betting. But obviously, you win your season-long league, you'll definitely pay it off with the fantasy football.
Sure.
So
we had a millionaire winner 2 years ago in DFS. Single bullet in the FanDuel million. He took it down. Millionaire Mike.
Yeah,
bought a boat. Servo with his money.
Aloha, Kenson Paris. He's chiming in there. Love it, man. Thanks for commenting on this college football stuff. Yeah, and prayers for Maui, as he said. Yeah, prayers for Maui and for Florida and for the southeast of America right now with the hurricane situation. It's a tough one. All right, Daily Dinger home run calls for tonight. Who you got going deep?
Yeah, listen, the last time I was on the show, I gave you Bobby Witt at plus 600. He homered. We're going to keep running it back because the Bobby Witt is an absolute monster. He's got a lefty on the mound in James Paxton. Witt against lefties this year, hitting over 300 with a 233 ISO. And we've seen Paxton these last couple starts. Yes, tougher opponents here, but I think the inning just might be getting to him. This is the most he's pitched in a couple of years due to all the injuries. So I think Bobby Witt gets it done, and we're getting him at plus 500 today. So let's keep it rolling.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not surprised you're going back to Bobby Witt. He's been one of your favorites on the home runs.
He's such a good player.
Yeah. I'm going with Luis Robert for the White Sox, going against Eduardo Rodriguez and the Tigers. I just think that, Robert's a guy that hits left-handed pitching very well. Some great numbers in his split. And I think he's going deep tonight. I see plus 380 on DraftKings, and I'm immediately signed up because I mentioned Colby Conway laid out Robert's great matchup, great stats against left-handed pitching in the Prize Picks video. It's up on Fantasy Alarm, and I just have to second all of it because against lefties, he's one of those guys, right side against left-handed pitching, he's hammering it. You mentioned, I almost went with Kyle Tucker. You mentioned lefty on lefty, but I think Robert against Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been solid, but I do think he can, he's also a guy that allows some good numbers against righty hitters. So,
I like it.
Yeah, Robert and Bobby Witt. All right, we got to get out of here, but appreciate everyone tuning in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show, talking some baseball and some college football. We'll be back on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. To talk through some more baseball picks and some more, we got a college football game Monday night, so giving out some picks for that one. And again, stay tuned here. Jon Impemba is coming back with you guys on the MLB DFS live show at 5 p.m. Eastern with James Grande, building lineups for tonight. So stay tuned for that. And then 6 p.m. Eastern, the Alarm Fantasy Baseball podcast with Matt Sells and Colby Conway. And then 8 p.m. Eastern, real-time sports, high-stakes fantasy football draft coming at you. So get your baseball, get your football all day tonight as you're watching those college football games. John, awesome as always. Thanks for coming in here on a Friday. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Good luck with all your picks and your bets tonight and this weekend, and we'll see you later.
Bettor Sports Betting on the Bettor Sports Network.